Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
History teacher Lee Holder experienced a trip of a lifetime this summer when he traveled to Europe. Mr. Holder recently talked with Mitch Lewis about his experiences and how he's using them in the classroom.
Lee Holder, welcome to North Carolina Now.
Thank you for inviting me here.
So you and a group of teachers went to Europe this summer to interview Holocaust survivors. How did you get involved in such a project?
Well, I was going through the internet trying to find new resources for my students to use in the classroom when we studied the Holocaust and World War II. And one of the sites I found was an organization called Centropa. And the more I investigated what they had to offer, the more I realized how much my students could benefit from that. Because Centropa, unlike other organizations, they take photographs, and through those photographs, they tell the story of how Jews lived before the war and after the war. And it's very important, I think, in order to realize what's lost, to understand what was there to start with. So I contacted Centropa for more information, found out about a conference they were doing in Philadelphia, was able to go there, and then applied for this incredible experience in Europe this summer. And lucky for me and my students, I was accepted.
Now, when you and the teachers arrived in Europe and started going to various cities, talk about the cities you went to and some of the experiences you had.
Oh, it was incredible. We were able to go to Vienna, we went to Krakow, we went to Zagreb, and we went to Sarajevo. And we were very well, probably too well prepared for it. We were sent a reading list of about 50 books to read and videos to watch so we could get used to the culture and some of the experiences we would be having there. And we started the trip out in Krakow, and one of the most magical experiences for a teacher was one night in Krakow where I was given the chance to meet a righteous among nations, a woman who had risked her life back in the 40s to save a Jewish school friend of hers. And that same night, they brought in 50 Polish teachers to talk about how they teach this subject to their students. So we were getting best practices from not only American teachers and Israeli teachers and European teachers, and we had these 50 additional Polish teachers come in to spend the evening with us.
So how did you take what you gathered from Europe and apply it to your students learning about the Holocaust?
Okay, I took incredible notes and talked to anyone I could while I was there about what they do in the classroom. And what I was able to do is come away from this trip with some collaborative ideas with other teachers. And one of the ones I'm most excited about, there is a teacher in Israel, and she and I have decided on 2 books that our students are going to read. And we're going to use Centropa as a platform where our students are going to create lessons from these books that we are going to share with each other. And then the most incredible thing is we're going to create a drama based on these 2 books. The Israeli school was going to send their drama to my students. We're going to send our drama to their students, and then we're going to premiere it, one in LaGrange, North Carolina, and the other in Israel.
When you came back with this information, what were some of the reactions of the students?
They are incredibly excited. Our first day back, I shared photographs with them and ideas. And what makes this so incredible is that these students then, just hearing what we were going to do, came up with ideas of their own on how to share this with the other teachers. I mean, there were 10 teachers there from Israel, there were 20 from America, and there were 20 from Europe, 11 different European countries. So just the power internationally of Eastern North Carolina students to be able to share their experience and their ideas with students from all over the world is I just can't wait for all this to get started.
I understand that you were the recipient of an interesting grant. Talk about that.
Yes, Lenoir County Schools, where I work, was able to put some money together, very forward-thinking. They purchased several iPad 2s and several iPod classroom sets. And the grant I submitted was based on this trip, and we found out Friday that we won. So they came in with trumpets blazing and balloons and announced that my students now are going to have 30 iPad 2s. We're going to have a MacBook. We're going to have a wireless cart, a wireless classroom, and we even have a gift card thrown in to boot to buy apps to work on this project with.
You're affiliated with organizations dealing with the Holocaust on the state level as well as the national level. How will you apply the information and the experiences you learned to those organizations?
Okay, on the state level, I'm very fortunate to be on the North Carolina Council on the Holocaust. And this year we are implementing, Karen Klaich, who is a teacher in Pitt County, has worked very hard to put together a art contest, a writing contest, a dance contest related to the Holocaust. And I hope possibly to use the information I gathered from this trip to collaborate with her and take these winning entries and possibly put them into some sort of traveling exhibit to coincide with the other 5 exhibits we have. And nationally, the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum has this project on the Łódź Ghetto, and my students are going to be able to act as historians using their iPad 2s that we now have and help the museum actually do research on aspects of the Holocaust they haven't been able to.
Now with your students being involved in this, what do you feel that they have gained from this experience?
My students, it's incredible to watch them. They are incredible young people, and I believe that they are becoming more upstanders in their life. They're not letting other people dictate who they are and what they can become. They see discrimination and prejudice for what it is, and they speak out against that on the ground level. It's incredibly satisfying to me as a teacher to see students stop discrimination in its track and don't let it get any further than what they hear.
And of course, if our viewers want to find out more about the projects that you're working on, where can they go?
I would strongly suggest, whether you're a teacher working with students or you're a family member working with your children, to go to the Centropa site. There are over 1,200 interviews that they have conducted. There's thousands upon thousands of digitized photographs. Every photograph has a story. Every story has a biography. And if you're a teacher, every photograph and story has a lesson plan. Teachers can go to this site, and they've got a site set up for students. They've got a site set up for teachers, and you could border jump. That's what they call it, border jumping, where you share your community stories and activities with stories and activities from throughout the world.
When people think of the Holocaust, it's usually sometimes a negative connotation. But there were some things that were involved in the Holocaust that brought some hope, that brought some positive results. How would you explain those results or those incidences that happened?
One thing as a teacher, even though you teach these and you need to teach these positive things, you have to make sure the students realize that they were small in number. As great as they were, as inspirational as they were, you can't overemphasize them because sadly most of the world watched while this was going on. But whenever on this trip I was able to meet a Righteous Among Nations, Irina Sindler, who passed away several years ago, has always been an inspiration to me for what she did and the children she rescued. But I've never met a Righteous Among Nations. I've never met anyone who actually rescued people and risked her life to help her fellow man. And just having that experience and being able to share my emotions with my students about that moment in my life, I think is very rewarding and hopefully will go a long way in the students' lives.
Lee Holder, history and social studies teacher at North Lenoir High School. We thank you so very much for stopping by and sharing your experiences with us, and continued success to you in the classroom, sir.
Thank you so much.
Podcasts on UNC-TV.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.